Robinhood just laid off 10% of their staff. And the craziest part about this isn't that AI was responsible for the layoffs. It was that they, for once, didn't blame the layoffs on AI. And that should scare tech workers more. Because for the past year, tech workers have been debating about whether or not AI can replace them, whether it makes them faster, what that means for headcount. But Robinhood's decision to lay off 10% here and their rationale behind it is much colder than that. They don't need to prove that AI is replacing you. They don't need to prove that the business is in trouble. They don't even need to prove that revenue is down and they need to cut heads because it makes financial sense. They can say business is strong, the company is lean, we are making profits, and we just want to run leaner by cutting 10% of our staff. This is a new and unprecedented phase. As usual, facts first. Robinhood is laying off 10% of their workforce, not blaming AI. Instead, the memo for the layoff says we just want to run leaner. It's operational discipline, they say. CEO's language is the most important part. Take a listen. Flatten the organization. Avoid becoming heavily layered. Stay lean and focused. Maximize talent density. Continue strategic hiring. Invest in frontier technologies. Crunch's read was that Robinhood's memo didn't lean on the traditional excuse of AI made us do it, don't blame us. It just said that they phrased it as a restructure. That matters because we've been debating about the wrong thing. We've been debating about whether or not AI can replace employees. Instead, this layoff brings up another question, a darker question that should really get you to prick your ears up. And that is, does AI even need to be good enough for the CEOs to decide that the layoff is permanent? Where did your head go when you first heard this news? I know for me, I've had 10 years plus of experience in software. I've been director of engineering at American Express. I've worked at a lot of household name companies. And I can tell you the first place my mind went is Robinhood must be bloated. I've been at bloated organizations before, at bloated companies. I remember at one such company that you definitely know the name of, but I won't name specifically. It was a large e-commerce company. My whole team was responsible for a submenu that was nested in another submenu of a billing dashboard that only store owners on the website could see. So it had like nobody visiting the part of the site that a whole team of engineers were responsible for maintaining and developing features for. It felt like some of the most meaningless work I had ever done in my career. And that was my first sense, is that Robinhood is simply a bloated organization. I've been there before. I know what it looks like. And this is simply a correction from overhiring during COVID. But if we go on, we were able to get access to their internal blind. And so if you don't know, Blind is an anonymous social media network for tech employees to post on anonymously. They're identified by their work email, so they can prove that they work or did work at Robinhood on there for only other Robinhood employees to see, or people such as myself with access to the Robinhood internal blind board. And the consensus is clear across employees on that board. It's not that the company is overstaffed. If you've been monitoring events and listening to the rumblings inside of Robinhood for the past 6 months, you would know that these engineers are strained. They are tapped out. They are spread in a million different directions. Things were already dire there. In another 10% cut, it could be an arrow in the knee for the company. To pull reports from this, I pulled out a couple of selections from blind posts. We're hearing endless releases, too much work, too many directions, too little slack. This is a company in crisis. So you have the C-suite, the executives, the billionaire class saying lean, while the workers are saying we're stressed and can barely get by. Those stories can't both be true at the same time. The true risk here is the same risk that AI brings to every other discipline, especially software engineering on the front lines, and that is a lack of mental discipline and an encouragement of laziness in thinking. An encouragement of laziness in thinking, and the executives are no stranger to this. They're not immune somehow just because they don't write software on the day-to-day anymore, if they ever did. Because their original thought process has always been, can we keep the same outputs with 10% less staff? I need to buy a 12th yacht this year, and it's not going to pay for itself. So can we let 10% go even if the workers complain about it, and can we keep the same output? Now they're asking that same question, but instead of actually thinking, can we maintain the same output, they toss a Hail Mary intellectually, and they just believe that Cursor, Claude, all of these AI tools are going to somehow fill the gap for whatever percentage cuts they make. So they're much more likely to say, yes, absolutely, we can cut 10%, get rid of these lazy people. They just need to be using AI more. I mean, we're talking fewer engineers, fewer managers, fewer product managers, fewer support people, same roadmap, more AI tools, more ambiguity, more pressure, less patience for average performers who are going to be chased out of these organizations aggressively. And that is why this is much bigger than Robinhood. I am sick of this phrase talent density. It sounds meritocratic. It sounds clean. It sounds like keep the best, remove the rest. But in practice, what talent density is meaning in this labor market is I need an additional yacht, and we need to just do more with less people, and we need to keep moving faster. You slaves need to be working 80 hours a week and should be grateful that you work at a place as forward-thinking as this, where we provide you with all of these AI tools that enable you to do 2, 5, 10x the work that you could yesterday magically. This is not unique to Robinhood. We've covered it on the channel before. It's a disturbing, massive trend that Business Insider is calling flattening. The difference in language between the layoffs before this trend and after this trend is totally clear. Old layoff language, you have macro headwinds, post-pandemic correction, overhiring, lower demand, interest rates, and restructuring. Now, the mask is off. The new language is aspirational around what can we just juice out of these engineers. It's high performance, lean teams, flatter orgs, ownership, talent density, strategic hiring, and frontier technology. That's darker because it means layoffs are no longer a response to weakness in business demand. They are a continuous operating model that will be done forever. You might be worried how this is going to affect product quality. I certainly am. I used to trade on Robinhood, and then after they had like 2 or 3 major incidents, I moved all of my stuff out of there. You need to move all of your money out of Robinhood ASAP. Here is a museum of failures of their most recent fuck-ups. You have leap year failures, daylight savings time bugs, which is a day one fix for engineers, infinite margin glitches in the application and on the website, really crappy support if you've ever called support, and the sense that users are ultimately going to tolerate a degraded product. And the message of enshittification is clear. If users are still going to pay for Robinhood, if they're still going to do their trading there, and they tolerate a product with all of these outages and petty, dumb issues, frankly, that are easy to fix, why make the product better if people are still going to use it? So execs are not in the same operating model that everyone knows. Better software requires more engineers, exponentially more engineers, to get marginal increases once you get near perfect software. Now they're saying how few engineers and how bad of a product can we build and still keep people on the hook with this service? The market does not always reward quality. Right now it's rewarding extraction. As with any ruling versus working class debate, they want us fighting against ourselves. And that fight is clear on the Robinhood internal boards in the debate about what the heck a product manager actually does, with some engineers saying they're glorified whiteboard jockeys. All they do is send Slack messages every day. And the product managers are clapping back and saying, we're driving the business. We are essential. We need to be here. We're handling so many requirements that your engineers shouldn't be handling. And for Robinhood, I'm not going to weigh in one way or the other. I don't have definitive proof to say that. I can confidently say that over my career, a lot of the product managers I've worked with are totally ineffectual. They could be gone the next day and nobody would care. The business would run fine without them. But I have worked with a few. It's the minority. I would assign it maybe a 70-30% split. 30% of the product managers I've worked with are hitters. They earn their keep. They make your life so simple. The requirements are all gathered. They make the business decisions. They're assertive. They push on the right things. And they just cover you off as an engineering manager, or even as an engineer, from all of this gnarliness of dealing with the business side. There are not many of them. So I'm assuming Robinhood has the same split. The important point here isn't determining whether or not product managers are necessary in tech. It's to just show you that there's a ton of infighting going on at Robinhood now. When conditions get bad, the executives don't want the workers ganging up together, organizing and saying, you know, we shouldn't stand for this. Maybe we should get something like a union together, or we should collectively bargain against them, something that would actually give the workers strength. Instead, they tear their peers down, and that's intentional. They want the engineers and the PMs fighting so that the executives, who are really the bad guys in this situation, aren't seen as the bad guys. I would be remiss if I did not mention that Robinhood sponsoring a lot of H-1Bs and perm applicants. They have current job postings that are live now during the layoffs and immediately after the layoff announcement that are sourcing for those roles. Why the heck is an American company based in America hiring people that aren't Americans while laying off even a single American is beyond me. I don't want to relitigate it in this video. You can go look at my numerous other videos on the abuses of the H-1B program, particularly by one specific country and our current administration and government that allows this somehow to happen despite underemployment being off the charts in this country. Suffice it to say, I don't understand why they're hiring any foreign workers given the market conditions and what they're trying to squeeze out of the workers. It seems like a power grab, because it is. Okay, so we've established these gigacorp CEOs are not doing layoffs because of AI anymore. And now the mask, it was slipping, but now it's fully off, and they can just tell you that to your face. We're talking fewer people in this new labor model, flatter org charts, higher intensity, more AI tools as if that somehow magically solves productivity, less tolerance for average output. As I said, those average performers are going to be chased out of these kind of orgs aggressively over the next 6 months. Less tolerance for average output, more strategic hiring even during layoffs, stronger businesses still cutting, and workers expected to treat instability as normal, which I hope I am a small bastion against by calling these things out and saying, look, this is insane. This is greed, plain and simple. It's wealth extraction from the worker class to the ownership class that doesn't actually know how to build anything, put hands on keyboard, can't actually write their own software. And so when people are really up in arms about this, they're not reacting to the loss of 290 jobs. They're reacting, whether they know it or not, to the paradigm shift that's going on. Because the old bargain was join a good company, work hard, get continuous raises, and stay at that company with some kind of job security for the long term. The new bargain is join a company, do stimulants to keep up with your coworkers, work 80 hours a week, nights and weekends, and maybe you'll survive the next talent density review. Robinhood did not say AI replaced these workers, and that is the point. AI layoff excuse gave CEOs a vocabulary for the layoffs, but now the mask is off and they can simply say that they want a leaner organization for the sake of a leaner organization. A company can be strong and still cut. They can be profitable and still cut. They can be hiring talent, especially from other countries, and still cut. They can also say that they're empowering employees while handing them the workloads of all of the employees that they just kicked to the curb. That is the new white-collar economy, not mass employment overnight, not robots replacing people overnight or AI algorithms replacing people overnight, something more bureaucratic and more survivable for the companies. Fewer people, more tools, more output, more ambiguity for the worker, more pressure. And when the workers complain, the response is built into the language in that memo. The company is lean. The company is disciplined. The company is profitable. And you, the worker, are the problem. And that is why the 10% layoffs at Robinhood are significant.